Everybody, hello. If I did this right, then we're gonna be live now. Hello, I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com, where we're on a mission to humanely source, maintain, and transport aquarium fish to our customers. We do this live stream every night. This is where I give you the shipping report, tell you how shipping went since I last talked to you. Also, we'll do a nice giveaway. This one is amazing. This is for a group of super expensive, rare, red-eyed reds, so albino high-fin cauliflower red swordtails. Really beautiful fish. So that's a neat giveaway. And then I'll tell you kind of about what's going on here at Dan's Fish, here at the Fish Warehouse. And then we'll get to your questions and comments. If you have questions about fish keeping or breeding or shipping or building a fish room or setting up an aquarium, anything to do with that kind of stuff, then I'm your guy. I'll do my best to help you out. So that's the docket for the day. I'm about to do the shipping report, but first I just want to do a little test. So I have the mic at a gain of 3 right now. I want to up it to a gain of 4, and you guys tell me if that's better. So is this better, what I'm doing right here? This is gain of 3, gain of 3, gain of 3, and I'm going to switch it. Just switched it. Now we're at a gain of 4. Gain of 4. Which one's better? Gain of 3 or gain of 4? So if you would let me know, then hopefully I can get you the best one. Number 4, people are saying gain of 4. Okay, we'll keep it here then. All right. Good. Most people are saying 4. Few people say 3. I mean, a lot of it I think depends on the device you're listening on. But, all right, I'm going to keep it at gain of 4 until I hear a lot different. So I think the votes are going for gain of 12, says Orange Cones. You can always count on Orange Cones. I think that back in junior high school, Orange Cones would have been fun to have in the class. I bet she would have made it entertaining. Anyway, good to see you, Charlie Barton. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Let's get to the shipping report. So I was unable to give you the shipping report last week because the person who does that report was not available, but I've got it for you from the last time I gave you. So this is for 2 weeks because we skipped last week. So 2 weeks ago, the total success rate shipping fish to our customers, which means they arrived alive and weren't obviously like in bad shape, and a few days later we're okay. Well, last time it was 98.33%. I'm pleased to report we've gained a little bit. It is now 98.34%. So we gained an entire 100th% progress on our way to 99% success, which is our goal. That's where we want to be. So things are going in the right direction, albeit slowly. It takes a long time to get a little 100th% going to make a difference, but we're doing it. Hey, Baron von Yenzer, it's been a minute. Welcome back. It's great to see you again. Welcome. Glad you could be here. So that's the report. I think we figured out last week we were dealing with a rare delay from UPS that almost never happens at their main hub in the Memphis area, and couldn't figure it out. But Johnny's got some family over there, or not Memphis, I'm sorry, Louisville is where they're located. FedEx is in Memphis, UPS is in Louisville. Johnny's from Louisville, and he has some family there. And so he found out that there were a couple of tornadoes that touched down on some of the main bridges that allow things to get across a river there. So I think that might have been the issue that caused the delay on a few of the packages back when we were having that issue a couple weeks ago. So a week and a half ago. No, just a week ago. Yeah, Monday of last week. So a week and a half ago. So it sounds like that could have been it. We don't know for sure, but if that was it, that makes sense. The issue we're having right now is almost everything's going well. There's one here or there that has a problem, but for some reason the black Venezuelan corridors have decided they don't want to ship well. So we put a pause on that. We've removed them from the website. I have no idea what's going on because here they look perfect. They're in great shape, they're eating, they seem wonderful. So we're going to give them some time. We have an aquatic veterinarian we can work with, and we're going to try to figure those out before we ship them again. The good news is we have another batch from a different supplier in another tank that should be coming out of quarantine shortly. And the hope is that those will do well. So while we're figuring out the batch that was having trouble, we should have some more to ship. In about a week, they'll come out of quarantine. So that's the problem of the day, is trying to figure out the black Venezuelan cories. And let's see here. Oh, I guess the other thing to talk about shipping that I'm proud of is it's been crazy busy. So Monday we shipped at full capacity. We could maybe have gotten a couple more bags of fish done, but we pretty much found our limit and we got it all done, and we kept the quality high enough that we're making progress towards that 99% goal. So I'm really proud of the team. If anyone's watching that works here at this company, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Good job. We've implemented some new screening techniques to try to make sure that we never send a fish that isn't going to thrive for our customers. That's always been the goal. And we've identified a few things to improve. We've implemented those improvements. And as we scale, the data suggests that those improvements are the correct thing to do. So good job on the team. They're the ones that suggest a lot of these improvements, and they're the ones that have a feel for where the weaknesses are. So it's awesome to have them. So thanks, guys. Let's see here. I think it's time to talk about the giveaway. So this is an exciting one, and I can tell people are excited because there's already 222 folks here. Before I talk about the specific fish that we're giving away, I want to talk about a little journey with live bears. So for a couple years, those that have been following for a while, when did I start my mission to find a way to get like steadily healthy live bearers out there? It's probably been a couple of years at this point. I've been working on this problem. I've been so tired of the live bears in the hobby, and it's about their hardiness. Man, when I was a kid, you couldn't kill a guppy. Like, I remember in kindergarten having like the bring your pet to class day, and we all brought our little pets to class, and I remember several gallon pickle jars with some plants and some gravel in them, full of guppies that were just breeding and everything. There wasn't any aeration, there wasn't any heat control, none of that. And super hardy, super neat fish. And now it's very difficult to keep guppies alive, along with mollies, platies, swordtails, lots of different live bearers. And that's been frustrating because I love those fish, and I wanted to find a way to make a difference for that. And I think I found a way to get healthy live bearers to folks. So been working over the last 2 years, trying lots of different suppliers to see if I could find an industry supplier. Hobbyist live bearers are generally great. I love buying from hobbyist breeders. That's not the problem. The issue is that you need an industry supplier that you can source healthy fish from, because there's not enough capacity from hobbyist breeders, right? I buy out hobbyists of their stock all the time, and I need many more to sell. So I need an industry supplier that can keep up with, look at that, I can bend my neck the right way. Yeah, last week my neck had seized up, but it's much better now. Anyway, so I need an industry supplier. So I've been trying lots of different ones. Every time I thought I found one, it turned out I hadn't. And then I'd try another one and be like, just never found it. Until recently, I was talking to someone I trust who has helped me source lots of different fish, and they suggested a supplier, and I tried them. It's been a couple months now. 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. So I did a small order just to test. The fish came in, they looked great, so I was very excited. thought this might be it. Since then, I've brought in a few more species from that supplier. They do, that breeder does guppies, mollies, platies, and swordtails. And you've seen some rare swordtails and kind of fancy strains of live bears available occasionally on the website as we're testing this out. Found out a couple things. Yes, I can get their live bears healthy. I've been working with an aquatic veterinarian throughout this process to figure out what do we need to do on our end to make sure these fish stay healthy. So we're doing that. And then we've been selling several, and they appear to be doing well for our customers. Every now and then there was an issue, and then we would go back and with the veterinarian test and figure out what could be going on. Over the last 2.5 months or so, I think we figured it out. And one of the final steps to that is this piece of paper right here. This is a lab report from the Utah Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory. And there's a whole video coming out about this. But between the veterinarian and the lab that he works with, we have found no signs of that virus that infects so many live bearers, and that made it so that I had to stop bringing in the really high quality, I guess they're not, are they high quality if they have a virus? They're really fancy strains of like cauliflower, swordtails, and things. So this new breeder appears to be virus free. I've talked to my veterinarian. He said, yes, you can say that, with the caveat that you never know 100% certain if anything's virus free, right? But from all the tests we've done, we've seen no evidence of any viruses in these fish. They do come in with a couple things, but they're very fixable. And we have a protocol that we've worked out with our veterinarian to make sure the fish are treated for those things and cleared up and everything before we sell them, just like we do with lots of our fish, right? We have a 2-week quarantine for that reason. And now we've got to the point where I'm confident we have clean live bears. They're high quality, not just from a health standpoint and a hardiness standpoint, but also they look great. This breeder cares for their fish, and they work their lines, and they do it right, and there's good consistency in the lines. So, very excited about this. I think I can finally get you healthy live bears of good quality. So, let me show you a couple things. I need to get a new picture. This little guppy here, I can do better than that. If you go to the website, here's a sample of some of the stuff. And these are very recent pictures, most of these. So here's a metal snakeskin. This is the black variety. We have the blues too, but only, we have very small males. They aren't mature enough to sell, so we only have the females available. But you can see the blue on the tail and kind of the yellow center. As they grow older, that tail and that the finnage will darken and that tail will turn almost black. But in the females, but in the males they have kind of a blue sheen. Sometimes in the guppy world you say something's blue and it's like it's almost black, but if it has, you know, blue sheen, then they tend to call it blue. These are the blue laces. These look fantastic, really pretty. So much detail that it's hard for my camera to pick it up entirely, but look at the size of these dorsal fins. Like nice long flowing fins, but not so long that the fish has trouble swimming or anything. The fish does just fine. And that's kind of my cutoff point. When a fish has trouble being a fish because we've bred it like a parrotfish, so its mouth doesn't close completely, or rosetail bettas that the fins are so massive that the fish can't even swim, that's when I'm like, no, I won't do that. But I like these. These are half moons. And there's one picture here. See this female? See how close to straight line this is on her fin? That's what we're going for with half moons. And we're not quite there yet, but you can see it gesturing. And there's one picture of a male. The picture isn't in focus very well, but I took it because he's swimming and holding his tail in such a way you can actually see that line right here, which is almost straight. It's so close. So these are the half moon, the blue half moon guppies. They do have a little blue sheen on the tail, but it's mostly a black tail. Really excited about these. These ivories, I mean, again, look at the quality of the finnage. These are nice, full fins. Really beautiful. And this is a female. Look at the nice delineation. It's good. Good contrast on her pattern. And here's a picture of a male. I'm very excited about these. These yellow cobras are amazing. Look at this. The massive finnage. And then there's another one here. This is a female. Check the size of this dorsal fin out. And look at the tail. Like, this is a female, and she is gorgeous. Not a lot of color on the body or anything like a dragon might have, a red dragon or something, but just, you know, she's going to give you good babies because look at how much finnage she has. Then here we can see the dorsal fin and the nice contrast on the body, which is what you want on a cobra. Look at that tail. Oh, these are so pretty looking. In the leopards, I have to show you this because look at how clean and crisp the leopard spots are on the body. Really nice. And the females, nice contrast as well. The females are really pretty as well. But yeah, I love a leopard that actually looks like a nice clear leopard. I've had leopards in the past and it's been like, yeah, kind of. This is another one from that same supplier. This is a blonde Vienna bottom sword. And look at the length of the dorsal. The dorsal fin is as long as the sword, which I think is super cool. So yes, these are like aquarium industry fish, right? They're show breeders that could take these fish and go even to the next level, I think. But as far as fish that come from any industry breeder, I think this is as good as it gets. I've seen a lot of guppies. I've been around doing this for 30 years now, maybe a little more. And I haven't seen it this good. So I'm very, very happy with these. And the fact that we're able to get them healthy. So they take care of their stock and they have healthy stock. So that I'm very excited about. And then in addition to that, we've been able to find stuff like this. These are high fin red cauliflower swordtails. They have a black eye and a thin black margin down here, so they're not albinos, but the red is amazing. They still look amazing. They're not, when I compare them to the albino, the red is just as intense. Here's the albino version of that. Here's the tuxedos, and I don't think I have a picture of the tuxedos. Oh yes, I do. I was gonna say of the males with the fins actually raised, but here it is. It's not a close-up, but you get the idea. These are fantastic. Even at parade rest though, it's still a good looking fish. And these platies are nice, but I'm gonna stick with the fancies. The red wags, the fins on these are amazing. These are females, and look how pretty they are. Again, cauliflowers. Then these are, there's a whole line that they've developed off the pineapples. This is one. So this is a pineapple basically. It's got the same kind of traits, but it's got more red in the fins, and it's pretty much patternless in the body. So they're calling this the white-bodied red-finned high-fin swordtail. And then we have the regular albino pineapple, and you can see the difference here. See how much color is in the body? See these kind of red horizontal stripes going down the body? That's, here it's very evident. You even have the green there. So that's the albino pineapple. And then the other one, if I can find it, oh, this is only showing stuff that's in stock right now. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So where is that veil tail swordtail that I need to show you? Okay. So the sunrise hyphen platy, these came in amazing. And I have more coming up as I'm able to get more from this breeder. As soon as they have more, I'll get them. We'll get these going, because look at how pretty this is. You take a platy to the next level. Look at that with the fin raised. I think that is delicious looking. We have these solid yellows, also nice big fins. Your typical Variotis fin is kind of a lot thinner. It kind of goes up and up and kind of down, right? Let's see here. So, yeah, something like this, right? Kind of that thin, or like that. See, it's got a high fin, but it's not very full. It's not super impressive. And that is what a lot of high fin Variotis look like this. Okay, yeah, kind of got that hook thing going, right? I love these. They've done a lot of work on that dorsal fin, on those and this one. I mean, this is the best dorsal fin I've seen on a platy. That's amazing. But what I'm looking for is her. There she is. I'm looking for these. These are the albino veil, pineapple veil tails. These females look like bettas. The tails are so crazy. Now the males don't get that. They look like an albino pineapple with less pattern on the body. But these females are amazing, and I do have more in, and they're going through quarantine, and they're doing great. Here's what the males look like. Beautiful fish, but they don't get the veil trait in their phenotype. They carry the gene in their genotype. So those I'm excited about. So let's see here. Oh, I do want to show you this guppy here, because I think this is the best guppy I've ever seen. It's this. These guys are amazing. These are Dumbo ears. They're platinum, and they have these nice red tails. And they're consistent, and they're bright, and I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed by these at all. They're sold out, I'm sorry, but they're a fantastic looking fish, and I'm definitely going to get more of these in. I mean, look at the Dumbo ears on this thing. So anyway, that has been our project. And what we are going to give away today, in order to kind of have an exciting launch of this, is these. We'll give you 3 of these. These are the red-eyed red cauliflower Vienna, I guess, although I still have to research exactly what that means. Swordtails. They're pricey little suckers. The ones we're going to send you they're not sexed yet, so they're good size. The early males have developed, and now we're waiting on the batch for the late developing males to develop. So in swordtails, thanks to Greg Sage, I know a tiny bit about breeding them, running a line, right, and developing a line. And the basic thing is you have early developing males that at a very young age will sexually mature and start breeding with the female. So that's one strategy to become, a successful breeder, is develop early and breed first. The problem is, because they put so much energy into maturity, their endocrine system's sucking so much energy away, they don't grow very big. They're small, they're skinny, they're kind of delicate. And they're not what you want if you're trying to breed a big, robust swordtail. So early maturing males will come out, and you want to remove those. You remove those so they don't breed with your females. And then you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And the late developing males will finally develop. But they don't do that until the fish is grown big and robust and is fairly good size, and then they'll mature. Because the second way to breed successfully is to be bigger and badder than anyone else, right? Be big and robust. So those are the 2 breeding strategies that swordtails use, and we want the late maturing males. So the batch we have comes from breeders that are selecting for that. They want good, big, robust body size in their swordtails. I can tell just by looking at the strain. And there are some secondary sex characteristics, like the anal fin on the males, even before they fully mature, become sexually mature, is maybe a little thicker, that leading edge. But it's not 100%, so we're selling them as unsexed. But we'll be sending the giveaways for 3 of those. We think if we send you 3, not only is that exciting and a high dollar value, but also it gives you a good chance of getting both sexes when they finally mature. That's what we're trying to do for you. So if you would like to win 3 beautiful red-eyed red cauliflower, maybe Vienna, I still have to figure out what that means, swordtails from us, then it's pretty easy. Enter the word hashtag swordtail in the chat. That's hashtag SWORDTAIL. No spaces, caps don't matter. Enter hashtag swordtail in the chat and you'll be entered to win. We'll do that drawing a little later. Anyway, I am super excited to finally have high quality live bears that I think are healthy. I mean, we've worked with a vet, we've worked with a diagnostic laboratory. I don't know what else we could do. We've been shipping them, we've got feedback from customers, we've been observing them for a couple months, and I think we finally figured it out. So our guarantee is that our fish are healthy, and that includes these live bears for sure. Something else we're doing is we're having them send us live bears, and when they do, they're not super densely packed. So they're only putting a few fish in a bag, as opposed to the normal pack for these fish is over 100 fish per bag, between 1 and 200. And we're not doing that. We're doing like 10 per bag, 20 per bag, and that's it. So the fish arrive less stressed, but because you're taking up more space and there's more weight and cargo and stuff, it costs a lot more because shipping charges to get them to us are more expensive when we do that. So none of these fish are going to be cheap. It's not because we're gouging you. We're not even making our normal markup on a lot of them. But it's because we have to pay for an aquatic veterinarian, we have to pay for laboratory research. The medicines we're using are expensive, and we have a protocol that we use on them all the time. And also the freight, since we're trying to source them humanely and make sure they aren't crammed together, but have room to breathe and aren't so stressed and therefore are healthier, all that combined. So you will notice the price is high. That's unavoidable though, if you're trying to do things for quality and you're trying to treat your animals humanely. And that's what we're trying to do here. So they're as cheap as we can make them. Now, our hope is as we do more of these and purchase more, that our purchasing power will grow, in which case we might be able to negotiate a bit of a better rate. But freight's not going to go down. Vet screening bills are not going to go down. Medicines and lab costs are not going to go down. So there might be a few things we can do, but to do live bears in a humane way that guarantees that they'll get to you healthy and thrive, that's the cost. And at Dan's Fish, basically we've decided we're going to do what it takes to get people healthy fish and to do things in a humane manner. And we know that costs more, but we don't want to be in business any other way. We just don't want to be involved in a business that would treat the animals poorly or not do everything they can to make sure the customers are getting stock that they'll be successful with long term. So that's just how it is. So anyway, if you value quality and health over price, we're the place. If low price is the most important thing to you, we're probably not going to be able to help you. But I would encourage you to think about this. How many times have you tried guppies or whatever, and had problems. In fact, I know a lot of people that their entire goal when they purchase a live bear, guppies, platies, mollies, swordtails, domestic live bears, is to try to get a drop of fry before the parents die. Like, that's the entire goal. It's come to that. If you're a guppy person and you're trying to buy guppies, the whole goal is hopefully the female drops fry before she dies, right? That's a sad state of affairs. We need to change that. So that's what we're trying to do. And I think we've done it. Now after this two and a half months of testing and figuring all this out, we're now bringing more things in. So the things I showed you on the website are a few of the varieties available. We didn't want to go all in until we knew that we had figured this out, had the vet's approval, and had shipped enough fish that we knew customers were being successful with them long term. And now that I think we've figured out the last little bits to that process, we're bringing a whole bunch more in, and I'm very excited to hopefully be a source of healthy stuff. Yeah. John Jones says, how about breeding these live bears? Yes, that is something that I love the people that get them to do. Our business model really doesn't allow us to breed and raise many fish. We are doing a couple here and there, but it just doesn't work with our business model to do a lot of that. So my hope is that we can spread them around, people will be successful with them, and we'll get so many that they need to sell them back to us. That's my hope. And we're already doing that with a lot of hobbyists, so that's the kind of thing that works for our business model. So if you've had trouble with live bears in the past, and have kind of given up, one thing I love doing, and I always use the example of the cardinal tetras, but we could use the example also of celestial pearl danios. We could use the example of lots of different fish that there's fish that people want but they're hard to get healthy. And so there's people that literally have just given up. And I would encourage those people, if you still love that fish, but you gave up because you didn't think you could be successful with them, give it one more try. Try them from us. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. My favorite thing in the world is when someone who has been trying to keep a fish for a long time and gave up and has been like, I'm done. And then they decide, okay, I'll give it one last try, and they get them from us. And they email me 6 months later and they say, I've still got them, they're amazing, they're super happy. That's one of the differences we're trying to make here at Dan's Fish. We're trying to make it so the fish you get are gonna thrive for you. And I think we're there with the live bears now. So give them one last shot. And we have a guarantee. If there's problems, we refund you the cost of the fish. We refund you the cost associated with shipping those fish. And we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're doing everything we know how to do to make the difference and not just talk about it. I know every business that sells fish talks about how they care for the fish and how their fish are healthy and how they have a guarantee and all that. But when you dig into the fine print, you might find, okay, they guarantee, but they give you a store credit and they don't reimburse you for shipping. Now, some do, and some do because they have to, because we've been doing that for a while, so the pressure's been put on them. I've seen guarantee policies change since we've come on the market. So I think we're being a force for good. I think that there are other places that are now doing that as well. But everyone talks the talk. We're trying to be the company that actually walks the walk. And I think in this case, we're finally walking, and at a decent clip. I mean, we've been toddling for a while with live bears. It's been a process to figure this out. I think we're actually walking. And I think I have enough data to say that with confidence. And if it all goes south, man, I'm gonna have a lot of egg on my face, but pretty sure. All right, that's what's going on here. And that's why we're doing this giveaway, because I want to launch this right. It looks like we are. There's 324 people here, so people must be excited about that giveaway, because we usually don't have that many. Not this early in the stream, not when the weather's this nice. Well, it's raining here, it's gross here, but you know, wherever you are, it's probably nice. With that, I think I'm done rambling. It's been 36 minutes. Let's get to your questions and comments. Before I do that, I want to thank my moderators for being here and doing what they do. I truly appreciate you guys. I know there's been some concerns that moderators have raised, and I've said I'll get to that, and I will. I have not been able to get to it yet. So moderators that have been talking to me over the last couple of weeks, I just want you to know I've heard you. I haven't forgot, but we're short a person. We're trying to hire someone, and one of our team's out with an injury right now. Not from work, from the gym. It's not something that happened at work. It happened at a gym, but we're extremely busy, and we're trying to staff up, and there's a lot to do just to keep the wheels rolling here. But I've heard you, and I'll take care of some things. It's on the list. Haven't been able to get to it yet, though. Anyway, thanks to my moderators. I do appreciate you. And without further ado, let's get to your questions and comments. Okay, there's a lot of people that have put Swordtail in the hashtag. I figured there would be. It's a good one. Connor Costello, what is a fish that is cheap but rare? Just a fun question. What's cheap? I'm gonna go with the one that, let's see. Cheap and rare usually don't go together very much. Like if it's rare, it's usually not cheap. I'm gonna go with Betta cochina. That's a fish that you can buy for $9 to $12, somewhere around the 10 to 13 bucks, somewhere in that range. Not a super expensive fish, but rare in the hobby. Licorice gouramis as well. Any licorice gourami. They're in the cheapest. They're not a $2 to $3 fish, but they're affordable for most folks, and they're very rare. So that's what I'm going to say. Around the $10 mark, give or take a bit. I'm gonna define that as cheap, since you didn't, and say licorice gouramis and Betta cochina, those small little wine red bettas, stuff like that. Yeah, that's a thought. There are fish that are cheap but extremely hard to bring in and have healthy, like the axelrodi rasboras. Those are a chore, and some others, but that's my thought. Robert Johnston, hello Dan, hello Robert. I've got my first green water tank going for Itinga bosemani fry. Could you give me a rundown on how I should go about feeding these guys for the first month? So what I would do, I like control. I'm a bit of a control freak, especially when it comes to breeding. So I would get a small plastic, like the shoebox container, and put about an inch of water in it, and add enough green water that you get a little green tinge to the water. And I would change the water in that container 2 to 3 times a day, and every time I added fresh water, I would add more of the green water. I'm changing the water just to keep waste at a minimum, and I'm adding the green water just so there's constant food in front of the fry. So that's what I would do. I don't know how thick your green water is, so I don't know if that means you only have to put in, like, I don't know, half a teaspoon and suddenly you've got tons of food in there, or if it's more like you've got an inch of clean water in there and now you need to add an inch of green water. I'm not sure exactly, but that's something that I think I would try. Now, quick caveat, I haven't tried that, but I think that's something I would do. The thing I have tried, and this is the easy thing, we're getting to it, is just put the fry in the green water tank. I've raised lots of fry, including lots of rainbow fish fry, just in green water tanks. After about a week, squirt some baby brine shrimp in there once a day, and you'll get amazing growth. So that's the easy way to do it. But the control freak in me, the one that wants to like pick the eggs and incubate the eggs and count the fry and do it for quantity and stuff, thinks that he would try that if he was trying to do it with green water. Now the good news about rainbow fish fry is they're top oriented, so even without green water, using like the 5 to 50 micron golden pearls or really fine spirulina powder, things like that, you can feed them. You just put that fine powder on the top and they will nibble it because they're a top oriented fry and they don't seem to mind that. Now, you're not going to get as good a growth and as good a survival rate as you would if you were feeding live rotifers or like a nice green water like you're doing. But I think a combo of green water along with some of those powdered foods is good just because you get a mix of food in that way. So in my little shoebox, that's what I would do. Water, enough green water that they had a lot of food, plus maybe in the morning a pinch of dry food on top. Change the water at lunch, same thing, and then at night I would just put in the green water without the dry food because they're not going to find the dry food at night. And I would do that so when the light came on in the morning before I was up and about, they would have food first thing in the morning because the green water's in there already. So that's my thoughts, Robert. Hope that helps. And rainbows, once you figure them out, there's a couple little things to figure out, but once you figure them out, they're pretty easy. We have rainbow fish showing up in our tanks constantly here. And we, like often there'll be a tank that's empty for a while. We didn't feed it, we didn't do anything because we didn't know. And then we'll go get it ready for a new fish that we're bringing in, or that, we need to divide a tank or something. And we'll be like, holy cow, there's a whole bunch of like 1/4-inch rainbow fry in there. Happens all the time. Select Pet. Your reputation for quality fish is spreading very well. I had someone in our club advertise platy fry, I think it was, as being fry from Dan's Fish, so you know they're good. Oh, that's nice to hear, Select Pet. I mean, I've been a big believer that if we can constantly do the right thing, the money will come. If we constantly are actually trying to fulfill our mission, that we'll become a profitable company. And I hope that's right, because I bet like literally everything I have on it. Rymac cichlids. Any plans on the horizon to bring in keyhole cichlids? Rymac, I have actually not seen keyhole cichlids available for quite some time. They are something I want to bring in. And I don't know why. They used to be something you would see regularly. I'm going to make a little note to specifically look for them. Now I noticed some suppliers that have them, but I'm trying to think of suppliers that I want to use because they're willing to do things like pack in lesser quantities and stuff, less density and things like that. But yeah, I have not. I would have noticed if those were on the list because that's a fish that I like, and I have not seen it for a while. Baron Von Yinzer, welcome back to the Baron. The gold roseline barbs I won at that giveaway are still doing awesome. Even being mostly blind, they're stunning and thriving. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, Baron. We do have a soft spot for the blind fish here, so I'm glad they went to a good home. And yes, the gold roseline barbs that have the eye issues, a very small percentage of each batch will have bad eyes. And we hold those to the side, and then every now and then we'll give them away, or I think we have them on sale for like extremely cheap. Cyprinids, like the roseline barbs, have whiskers. They have sensory organs, barbels. And so even though they're blind, or I don't know if they're totally blind, but their eyes don't work right, they can still find the food. They just go around like a catfish, and they learn to do that very well. As long as they're in a tank where they aren't outcompeted by extremely fast feeders that would gobble all the food before they can go sense it. They're as pretty, they grow as big, they're just great. They just can't be in a tank that has fish that will outcompete them for food. So I'm glad to hear they're doing well. Brian Radovic, I had my first experience with replacements on an order thanks to that mess in Kentucky, Tennessee last week. I just want to say that the hype is real. I'm super satisfied. That was amazing. Hey, Brian, I'm glad to hear it. So we try our best. If there's an issue, which happens just slightly over 1% of the time in the last 12 months running, we try to think, what was this person's goal? So sometimes people will buy a breeding group, like 1 male and 5 females, right? Well, if the male usually what we do if a fish dies, if there's a problem, is we'll refund you for the fish plus the shipping associated with the fish, because it's fast and it's easy, and you've been refunded your entire cost in for that fish. So now you've got your money back and you can do what you will. But every now and then there's a situation where it's like, yeah, doing that isn't going to help this person, because now they've got 5 females and no males, or whatever the number is. So even if we refund them for the male that they lost, plus the shipping associated with it, they're still not going to be able to complete their project, right? So there are some cases, and that's one type of case, where we're like, we've got another male, I think we just need to mail it to them. We just need to send them another male. Otherwise, the entire reason for their purchase doesn't make sense. So usually we just do a quick, fast refund, clean and easy, but every now and then there's a situation where it's like, nah, we gotta send something. So glad that worked out for you, Brian. Orange Cones, you are not walking the walk, you are swimming the swim. Oh yeah, I forgot this is a fish stream. Hunter McLaren, can you tell us who is living in the tank behind you? Sure. So the 4-spot Tetris sold. So now we have the Amazon puffers in here with the archerfish. And these Amazon puffers just got put in this morning, right, Johnny? So they're still feeling their way around the tank, still settling in, but that's the main new occupant. There's a couple Corydoras in there and a couple algae eaters and some other stuff as well, but the main event there, the main update is that the 4-spot Tetris sold, the Splash Tetris. So we put in some Amazon puffers. And they're gonna get so fat and sassy in there, it's gonna be fun to watch. That tank gets spoiled, so. And this is my first time trying Amazon puffers in a community tank. I always have kept them on their own, but I know Candy Overhaul's got some from me a few years ago, and every time I go to her house, they were in there with lots of other community fish, and they did great. So I think this is gonna be fine. This is a bit of a test for me to learn something. How do Amazon puffers and archers get along? You know, I don't know, but I think they'll get along well. If they're not there next week, you'll know why. Had to separate them. Okay, scrolling up because chat jumped on me. I'm laughing at a comment from Johnny. I'll get to it in a bit. There we go. Brian Redovich at Dan's Fish. And you don't sell coals either. The replacements you sent are beautiful, way higher quality than I expected. Fantastic job. Oh yeah, yeah. We wouldn't try to replace a problem with a problem or fix a problem with a problem. But anyway, Brian, I'm glad to hear. Thank you. Yeah. Every now and then it's nice to hear that the choices we make pay off. Spencer's sister, my lone blue coral platy is alone. Should I keep him in quarantine or can I add him to the clutch I already have from you? I always quarantine if possible. Now I know not everyone has the possibility. There's, like, I've lived in apartments where the rule was you can have one aquarium and it has to be, I think, like 40 gallons or less or something like that. So I get it. You can't always have multiple aquariums going. But if you can quarantine, it's always better to do it. There's been times when the same group of fish from the same supplier in the tank, nothing changed. Let's say I brought in, I don't know, a group of fish from a supplier, put them in a tank, right? They get through quarantine, everything's fine. No problems. We sell a bunch of them, they're fine for everyone. Then for some weird reason, they develop a problem, and they only develop it here because I'll check in with the customers and say, hey, this started happening with our fish. I just wanted to see, are yours okay? And often, yeah, ours are fine. And so every now and then, an issue can develop afterwards. And just because you got the first group from me doesn't mean that if you get more that there could not possibly be a slight chance, I mean, we're talking statistical little slight chances here, that there could be a problem. So I always recommend quarantine. And we do our best. We quarantine, we medicate as necessary, we work with a certified aquatic veterinarian, we do everything we can think of to get you healthy fish and to only sell fish that we think are actually good and are going to thrive for you. Basically, we have a dictum here is that if you wouldn't send it to your grandma, don't send it out. Like, if you wouldn't want your grandma to have this fish because it's going to be a problem for her and you don't want her to have to deal with it, then don't send it to a customer, right? Same kind of thing. But we can't catch everything. Statistics just are what they are. And the chance might be 1 in 1,000 that you would have a problem. But if you can avoid that chance, why take it? And when someone like me who literally sends out thousands of fish, 1 in 1,000's real. Like, you know, when it's only 1 in 1,000, it still happens, and I still have to deal with it on my end. And so, to me, being the guy that sends out the quantity of fish we do, and the buck stops here. Like, if there's a problem, it's ultimately my responsibility. I sourced the fish. I cleared them I inspected them before they went out. I hired the people and put in the processes and procedures and all that. So every time there's a problem, it ends up with me because I'm responsible. And so, yes, the problems are very few and far between and rare, but I have to deal with all of them. So they're real. They do happen. And so why take the risk? Quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. Now, if you can't quarantine, we're the safest place I know of to buy fish and put them right in your tank. But if you can quarantine, always better. Jacob Metzner, our application still open for the Fish Happiness Associate. Yes, if you would like to apply, please do. We're still in the interview process. We've interviewed several good people, but yes, we are still looking for that person. Oh, hi, Jacob. But yeah, we haven't made the hire yet. So until we make the hire, we're still accepting applications. Kelly Foreman, thankfully I will never have a gym injury. Some people look out for their health by going to the gym. Others look out for their health by avoiding the gym. Jay Russ says, looking forward to getting my Odessa barbs from you tomorrow. Some of them started coloring up, so some of them were looking so good. The thing about Odessa barbs, just give them 2 weeks. Let them settle in, give them like 2 weeks. And when they fire up, they're worth it. I'm excited for you to get them. By the way, this is the time of year when shipping fish is the trickiest. I was like anxious all day yesterday because we sent a large order to somewhere where it was like 40 degrees, something like that, in the morning. And it was going to get up to about 70, 72 degrees by mid-afternoon. And the issue is this was going somewhere where they aren't delivered until like 7 p.m. A little town in Wyoming called Douglas. And so it takes a while for stuff to get there because it's kind of out, there's no UPS hub there. And so, okay, you have to put in enough heat packs so that they stay warm in the morning. But you can't put in so much heat that they overheat when it's 72 degrees or so in the afternoon. And they're going to be on a truck going from Casper to Douglas. And I don't know if the truck they're going on, the UPS truck they're going to be delivered on, is the one with the driver, in which case there's some climate control maybe, or if it's a trailer that's being pulled, like a semi-truck. So does it have any HVAC at all? Or is it going to be the sun's, it's only 72 degrees, but is the sun beating down on this dark brown trailer? And now it's 85 degrees in the trailer. Like, there's all these little things trying to figure out. So I was tracking that. I was watching tracking all day yesterday. It didn't get delivered till like 7:02. I was on pins and needles all day, but it made it in great shape, no issues. But it's that time of year when it's tricky. But I'm happy to say that we're navigating that pretty well. Even with all the changes in weather that are going on this time of year, sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's still too cold. Sometimes you have both in one day. And it's still going okay. We're still getting fish to people in good shape. So I think those Odessa barbs are going to arrive to you healthy and hardy. And plus, Odessas are pretty hardy fish. So, J. Ross, I think we'll be A-okay. Charlie Barton, would it be possible, and if so, how, to move a 3-year-old Oscar 3 hours to my new house? Yes. I think what you need is a tub, like a big plastic tote with a lid. I think you need an air pump powered by a USB cable or something like that. So what I would do is I'd make sure that guy doesn't eat for a couple days, make sure his intestines are all clean. Then I would put him in the tub. I'd put the air stone in there with a USB air pump in like a big plastic tote, like a sweater box of some kind. Put the lid on because you don't want him jumping out and you don't want water sloshing everywhere. And I would drive carefully. I think that's how I would handle that. Now, I haven't moved a 3-year-old Oscar to 3 hours from my house, but I think that would work. You could also get a very massive, thick bag and ship them that way, but I think the tote's going to be easier. Jacob, I am producing way more fry than what I have room for. What type of racking system would you recommend for expanding the amount of tanks I'm able to use in one space? Well, the reason we went with these is because the space between each tank is just 1.5 inches, right? A 2x4 is actually not 2 inches wide. I think it's 1.5 inches. I think that's right. And so we don't have like big cinder blocks or anything like that in there. So that's why we went with this. If you're going to use wood racks, then something like that I think is good. There might be a world in which you could use like 3/4 inch plywood and route that out and use that as your vertical support, like a sheet of plywood, and then you let me draw something here. All right, if you're on the podcast, I apologize, but the easiest way I know to communicate this idea is to show it. So let's say this is a piece of plywood. Let's say you route out these little things here, right, on each side, and then you could put your 2x4 supports that way. And if this is only 3/4 of an inch wide, it's still going to be strong, but it won't be as wide. Now the problem is plywood, you get that stuff wet, ain't no good. So maybe marine plywood. So I mean, that would probably work. We're talking a lot of money for marine plywood though. 3/4 of an inch thick. It's an idea. I'm no engineer, but that's an idea. But anyway, I liked this because it was a way to not have a lot of space between. Stacking cinder blocks and then putting the wood across it is very quick and convenient, but you waste a lot of space because the cinder blocks take up a lot of space. I haven't messed too much with metal, but okay, so here's the ultimate. If money's no object, I think the ultimate move there is have someone build you an aluminum rack. Aluminum's not gonna rust. It's lightweight and easy to move. It's super expensive, but it's very strong. And so you could maximize space with aluminum and not have to worry about your stuff rusting. So that would be, I think, the way to get the absolute max out of your space. But you're gonna pay for that. Aluminum's not cheap. Johnny at Dan's Fish, glass head standers are cheap and rare. Yeah, that's true. You don't see glass head standers that often, and ours are very cheap. Andy Carson, if I recall correctly, you don't sell black worms. Man, why can't I talk? I'm going to do that again and say all the words correctly. Andy Carson, if I recall correctly, you don't sell black worms. My question is if you have a suggestion for a place to buy them online. I wish. I don't. I mean, even California blackworms has become difficult to buy from. When I've tried, it used to be a place you could go buy worms, and then now they're always out of stock or what have you. I can't think of a place online that regularly has good quality blackworms. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know them. If someone really wanted to be successful in this industry, start a blackworm farm with temperature control, like an indoor blackworm farm. The problem is the place they're growing right now, there's one place in California where they're grown in quantity. Even the suppliers on the East Coast, that's where they get them from ultimately. The problem is it gets too hot there every year, and so the blackworms don't like it hot, and every year there's a massive die-off and they stop breeding, right? Well, they don't really breed, they segment them, but they divide them into little worms, and each of those becomes an adult with time. But the blackworms stop reproducing and don't do well when it gets hot. So if you had a place where you could control the temperature and have nice clean water for those worms and really grow them, man, we could use another blackworm supplier. I think there's a wide open space in this industry for that person. I mean, those sell for more than steak per pound. Like, it's a lot of money when you're buying blackworms. Leo says, when you guys getting Running River in? I think you're talking about the Running River Rainbow. It's a hard one to get. The last few times I've tried, I've been shorted. So it's going to be a while, Leo. I'll keep trying, but it's going to be a while. Johnny Best, you are not a big fan of goldfishes. Hey, don't blame you. Me the same also. I actually have nothing against goldfish. I like watching Luke's Goldies. It's a YouTube channel I enjoy. And one day I actually do want to get into goldfish, but I'll have some limits, like the big telescope eyes and stuff. No, like the fish has to be able to be a fish, right? It has to be able to swim. It has to be able to have a happy life. I know I'm anthropomorphizing the fish, but it has to be able to act like a fish. And with those big telescope eyes, I'm like, yeah, that's just not safe. But one day I do think I'll get into them. I've always liked them, but I have a lot to learn. I know fish in general, but there's things like these livebearers. I don't know all the genetics. Like what's a Vienna fin versus, or a Vienna versus a what? There's all these different fin types and genetics that go into them. So I've got a lot to learn there. The same with goldfish. Before I did goldfish, I would need to learn a lot, but I don't like all goldfish. I think we've gone way too far with a lot of them, but there's some that I think are pretty cool. Kevin McKenzie, I'm loving the new Tanga half-beaks. Yes! The color is amazing and they have a ton of character. Yes, they are okay, for people that don't know this fish, if you want a half-beak that's small and amazing, the coloration on these things is great. Now, I can't pick it up with the camera completely, but you can, there's a blue on them, there's red on them. The best I've been able to do is pick up kind of these gold, it's like a broken line down them. Oh, they're so pretty in person. Let me see if I can find a picture that does them justice. I don't think so. Well, that's not bad. It doesn't show all the color though. Okay, this one's okay. This one gives you an idea. See the red on the fins and the nice kind of iridescence on them, but they're a hard fish to photograph well. But yeah, I'm excited that you said that, because the Tanga half-beaks are one of my favorite half-beaks. They're just stunning little guys, absolutely stunning. And yes, they're out and about. They like to spar with each other and display and stuff. I like them too, Kevin. Kevin, you're a man of good taste. I can tell. Rick's Fish. Hey Dan, all the fish I got from you made the trip awesome. Love the CW23s. Hope the ones I delivered are doing well. They are, Rick. They're doing great. Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've lost a single one. I think they're doing great. So, for those that don't know, Rick is my favorite fish supplier. He's a breeder extraordinaire. He breeds really good stuff. And last week, we got a special delivery from Rick. And you'll be hearing all about that in another week and couple days once they're out of quarantine. You don't really have to quarantine Rick's fish. I know they're good, but we do. We just quarantine everything. That's our policy. But I'm glad to hear the CW23s arrived well, and I hope to buy hundreds from you, man. I'd love to have a good source for those. It's a shame they're so hard to find, and I don't think they should be. I think there's something that's very breedable. So anyways, good to see you, man. Oh, and I hope you got dinner that night. So me and Rick got talking fish, and to the point that maybe there were no restaurants open when he left. Ken's 3D and Aquatics. Hey Dan, I made a few 3D printed items for the fish tank with a decent customer base. Curious if you'd be interested in getting some hands-on. I'd appreciate some input from you. Okay. So Ken, we're probably not gonna sell dry goods, but I would be happy to maybe do a giveaway on a stream where if you provided some cool stuff, we could have that be the giveaway item. If you would email me, hello@dansfish.com, that's HELLO@dansfish.com. Give us an email and we'll talk some specifics. But I'm always looking for cool stuff to give away on the live streams. And if you 3D printed it, then it's probably one of a kind, so that's kind of cool. I mean, I'll need more details, but yeah. Hello, Patricia. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Ryan, stoned on Canadian Gaming. For the swordtails, what temperatures do you keep them at, and what is the size of tank you keep them in? So I keep them at 79 degrees. Every fish we have is kept at 79 degrees. And ours are some are in 75 gallons and some are in 40 breeders. But they're swordtails. You could keep swordtails in a 20 without any problem, I think. Now, everything depends on how you keep the tank and your maintenance schedule and how it's set up, you know, the little ecosystem. But yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with swords in a 20, I don't think. Garden Matic 81, how are the parrots settling in? And Okay, how are the parrots settling in? And do you think my 2 blood parrots would be decent take mates or avoid the situation? So the parrots are doing awesome. The platinum parrots are a ton of fun. No worries, they're doing great. I've never tried keeping platinum parrots with blood parrots. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that should be fine. Has someone here tried it? Because I'm not 100% Garden-matic, not having tried it myself. So if you've tried that, if you would chime in and let us know your experience, that would be awesome. Kyle Gibbs, dwarf red-tailed eels, working on it. Rymac cichlids, thank you, buddy. I would order them. Awesome. We like orders. That's what keeps us in business. That's our livelihood here, so all the orders are appreciated. Bonnie W, does your new live bearer supplier carry sailfin mollies? If yes, will you be getting some in? They have several mollies, but they don't have high numbers. I've ordered, they have some electric blues that I want to try. They have a couple other types. I think they've got like 6 types. So far, I've only been able to get the platinums in, but I'm working on getting the others. And I shouldn't say it's all their fault. I have tried a couple times and they have been out of stock. They just don't have that many fish, right? But also, I haven't tried real hard because I've just been testing things so far. So I haven't brought in all the varieties that I can because I've been testing. So it's a combination of, I did try to bring electric blues in a couple times and they didn't show up. But I haven't tried the others just because, again, when you're testing things, you don't go whole hog. But I'll be bringing in more of what they have, yes. And again, though, it's only like 6 varieties. And don't I want to say that the mollies that we got from them have sail fins. These albino platinum mollies, yeah, see this nice big fin on this guy? It's not raised right now. Do I have a picture of it raised? You can tell I was struggling to get a picture because I don't have one that's super good. Here's the sail fin right now, right there. I don't have any with it raised though. Yeah, can't really tell. Looking at that, you can't see their full beauty. Fish Hunter, I noticed that you have shrimp for sale. We do indeed. I've been thinking of keeping crayfish species, specifically the least crayfish, diminutus, meaning little. Do you have any plans to bring in crayfish? I don't. I'm not saying no, that I never would. There's a lot of crayfish from Papua that I would really like to do. But in order to bring in crayfish, there's a whole new series of things I would need to do with my local Fish and Wildlife. And right now, I just don't have the time to do it. So something that I'd like to try maybe one day, because some of those are just amazing. But there's a whole series of bureaucracy I have to get through to do that. And not that they're bad. I really like my Fish and Wildlife people. We work really well together. But just the time to do that is not there at the moment. I believe that your efforts will be rewarded, says Jacob. It's one successful fish keeping experience you provide for customers at a time. I can tell you, buying from you, all is stress-free. Yeah, that's the idea. We try to make it so the customer is like confident in their purchase. I could tell you that the fish settled in much more quickly and I felt like I didn't have to keep an eagle eye on them to detect any problems. Not the same experience buying from others. I'm glad to hear it, Jacob. Yeah. I mean, other folks have cheaper fish, but you might have to buy 2 or 3 batches, right? Before you get... if you originally wanted a dozen and you bought a dozen, and there were big losses, then you bought another dozen, there were big losses, you know, I think it's ultimately cheaper to spend the money up front, but I mean, people are funny. Like, there's some people that price is all that matters. It's like lowest price. There's something about a bargain, even if it's not actually a bargain because the health or the quality is lower. There are some people wired that way, and I get it. I'm wired that way on a lot of things. Like when I buy socks, I don't care. Give me the cheap stuff. When I buy like certain things that I just don't care about, yeah, what's the, like literally sock shopping for me, then that's the cheapest. I'm getting that one, right? But then there's other things that I really care about and I want quality. I want something that will last and I'll pay the money for it. But I get the mentality. Let's see here. Any tips on a betta that eats its tail? I don't have any tips. I've never had that problem. I've heard of it, but I've never actually experienced it. So I have no experience solving that problem. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. If anyone has had that issue and was able to fix it, if you would let us know. JTI Aquatics, are green Kubutai rasbors sensitive to overfeeding? I don't think so, not any more than any other rasbor I've kept. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Got a tickle in my throat. I mean, I will literally put a big bunch of large pellets in with Kubutai rasbors in the morning, and it's enough food that they can't finish it till 3-4 p.m. and they're just grazing on it all day. I've never seen them like blow it up or have problems from that issue, at least not from the food I'm feeding. Cruise Aquatics, I have purchased many fish from others' spots and always have issues with ick. I've never had any issues with your fish, much appreciated. When's the next red tail eel batch? So we're working on the red tail eels. I usually don't talk about what I have until they're actually ready to sell, because I just noticed this camera's crooked. Oh, now it's even more crooked. I'm not gonna fix that right now. Because what if they had an issue, right? What if a disease broke out or whatever and we couldn't sell them? What a disappointing experience for you who's been waiting on them. But we do have another batch in. They're doing fantastic. They're just still in quarantine. So I'm hoping that they get through quarantine fine. I expect them to. Every other batch we've got from this breeder has done fine. But there's always that small chance, and so I usually don't talk about fish that aren't ready to sell. But we have a nice batch of them, and they should be ready to go in about a week. Yeah, about a week. And I'm glad you've never had ick or anything. I do think that's still possible with my fish. So we try to avoid all those problems, but ick is something that if a fish is stressed, it can manifest. So I'm glad to hear that so far that's never happened. But if it ever does happen, forgive me. We do our best. There's always that chance. The good thing about ick is it's easy to fix, very easy to treat. Dragon Layer, I used 5-gallon buckets with lids and air stones, 5 hours with a huge Oscar in each bucket. They made the trip like champs, then sulked for 3 days after we got there. Yeah, the nice thing about 5-gallon buckets, if your Oscar is small enough to fit in one, is they make some with a screw down lid, so in a seal as well. So then you don't have to worry about the water as much splashing out. With the big plastic tote, water can still splash out because it's hard to find one with a real tight lid. CBW's email comes back as undeliverable. CBW's email. Orange cones, I don't know what that means. I don't know what CBW is. My brain probably knows, but is not registering at the moment. Kelly Foreman, throwing down a generous super chat. Thanks, Kelly. Very much appreciated. Along with Kayla's Aquatics and Reptiles. Wow, Bob, thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Much, much appreciated. And that probably means it's about time to do the giveaway. When Bob gets involved, he's usually trying to tell me something. So let's do that. Let's do this giveaway. So this is for 3. Nope, can't find them there. Where are they? There they are. 3 of these. 3 of these swordtails. Really beautiful. I think they're amazing, and I think they're healthy. I think they're going to do good for you. So the winner of those, out of 358 people are here, that's not bad, and 263 have entered to win. The winner is Greg Watson. Greg Watson, looks like you work in television, Greg. Congratulations, you have won, but there's a caveat. You have 2 minutes to leave a comment in chat letting us know you're here. That's how you claim your winnings. You can say anything, but you have to say something in chat. You have 2 minutes to do that. It's 8:20 now, so we'll give you till 8:23 because I don't know how far into the 20-minute mark we are already. So Greg Watson, chime in, let us know you're here. If you don't, we'll withdraw your entry and have to draw somebody else. Them's the rules. Leo wants more Skull Creek rainbows, wants another 6. You're someone of good taste. I think I might be able to help you out with that. I'll look with Johnny tomorrow, but we might have a few more. Let's see here, those were the Skull Creeks, my favorite. Sorry, the camera's shaking. When I write on this flimsy desk that I have, it shakes a bit. Fish and floral, I'm waiting for some flagfish to come in stock. So I have some, and oh, I'm on the wrong screen, sorry. I have some, and they're doing great, and they're ready to sell, but I'm gonna make a video about hair algae control, and I'm gonna take some hair algae, and I'm gonna put some in with the Amano shrimp, some in with the green leaf algae eating shrimp, and some in with the flagfish. I wish I had a big tank of Siamese algae eaters, but those have been unavailable for a little while. So I have those 3 organisms. I'm going to put algae in and see who eats it the fastest to try to make a video about controlling hair algae. So I can't sell the flagfish until I make the video. It's besides the normal like tours and vloggy type stuff, that's the next video I want to make. I just haven't had a moment. By the way, I had a pleasant surprise today. Jerry, a member of the community here, happened to be, he's from California, happened to be close by for work. Jerry's a photographer, and so he came by today and took a bunch of pictures of our fish. So thank you, Jerry, for doing that. I can't wait to see what your camera produced. When I go take pictures of fish, it's a crapshoot. When Jerry takes pictures of fish, he actually knows what he's doing. It's impressive. Greg, it is 8:23. Woo, that's living risky here. Let me make double sure that Greg has not said anything. I don't think so. It's redraw. Sorry, Greg. Them's the rules. We're going to redraw. So the winner is now... No Greg, says Johnny. Okay, good. William Effner. William Effner, you have 2 minutes to chime in. It's 8:23. You have till 8:25 and change because it just turned 8:23 a bit ago. To chime in, let us know you're here. And then we'll go from there. Jerry Serpel Morris, no problem. I hope they work out. Thanks for letting me see where the magic happens. Hey, it was such a pleasure to have you over. And I can't wait to see the pictures. Jay Roush, 6th drop of... Oh, this is great. 6th drop from the blonde koi guppies from Dan's Fish. These have been the healthiest, hardiest guppies I've ever received. Thanks, guys. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, those are good lookers. For sure. Good looking guppies. Glad they did well for you. Robert Johnson, will you have Cauliflower rainbows still in, say, September? I really want those, but don't have the space at the moment. So I can't tell the future for sure, but Cauliflower is one species that I always want to have in stock. And I have a good breeder for them. And we've sold several, so there's lots of people that have bought from us that are now breeding them. So yeah, I think they're one that we'll be able to source. You know, my crystal ball is always on the fritz, but I think so. William, Wow. People, this is the coolest giveaway I've done in a long time. And folks are like missing out. Just want to make sure, could someone chime in and confirm, Ahmad or Johnny, that William indeed has not chimed in? I want to make sure I'm not just missing it. No William. Okay. I have to get to Brenda in 5 minutes. She's singing a song tonight. My Fish Tanks Aquatics. All right. Tracy's like, I'm here. My Fish Tanks Aquatics, you're the next person to try. You've got 2 minutes to chime in. Got to say something in chat. Oh, good. My Fish Tanks Aquatics is here. Done. Done. Woo. Oh, good, because I was like, man, I've only got 5 minutes left, and my wife's going to do her premiere of the song she's singing tonight, which is another one from the Phantom of the Opera, and I'm going to miss it, but all right. My Fish Tanks Aquatics, congratulations. All you need to do now is email us with your first name, last name, and your mailing address, and email that to hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com, and we'll get the shipping and all that scheduled to send those 3 amazing swordtails out to you. Congratulations. Thanks for coming, everybody. We had a great turnout tonight. The next thing I'm going to do is head over like a good husband and listen to my wife sing. She's singing this song, Music of the Night from Phantom of the Opera. If you've never heard a true professional classically trained singer sing a song, this is the one to try. It's a popular song. It's easy to appreciate. Anyway, that's a link. If you want to join me, I'll be there at 8:30 in 3 minutes to listen to Brenda as she makes me remember again that I can't sing. So I used to have a band, right? I thought I was hot stuff. I'd go out and gig around. And then I met my wife. And then I heard her sing, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm not so hot stuff anymore. I mean, I still perform in musical theater and stuff for fun, but she takes the cake. Anyway, we're going to close this out by thanking our moderators for being here and doing what they do every week. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All the members, thanks. Your membership is such a huge help. We're a little startup company, and that little recurring revenue that you give every month adds up when we get enough members, and we're getting more and more members all the time. So thanks for being a member. Much appreciated. Everyone that threw money at us, thanks for the super chats. Everyone that was active in the chat, thanks for participating. Everybody who is lurking, hail the Lurker Nation. If you're listening on the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening to the podcast, I've got like 6 of these I got to load up in the podcast. I'm behind. Then thanks for listening. I'm going to go listen to my wife sing. I'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, bye-bye.